I can only assume a quick episode. Week 10, Packers go to Pittsburgh. Packers coming off a win. Pittsburgh coming off a mini bye. What will happen? Luke Reimer is in the middle. Trevor Land on the right. I'm Zach Bruner.
We're coming off a win.
Quick, coming off a win. Hey, feels good. Feels good. In the related news, I fucking dunked on a mini hoop against a 3-year-old. Praise me for being good at basketball. You know what I mean? Similar vibes, but it is what it is. I will say, betting odds for this week, again, going to Pittsburgh, noon game. Pittsburgh favored by 3. One of the lowest over-unders of the week, it looks like 38.5. Once again, same as last week. Not expecting many points. Obviously, both offenses are deficient in something, mostly creativity, stuff like that. But let's talk about last week. Packers get a big win over the Rams, a game that was more out of hand, more in control of the Packers than I think even the score probably indicates. 20-3 win, but every 2 seconds the Packers tried to shoot themselves in the foot one way or another. 3 fumbles, 2 of them lost. I feel like there's another turnover, but maybe not. But it was just mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Packers got to play a backup quarterback yet again. That was good. But overall takeaways, I suppose. Luke, how you feeling? What was your big takeaway from the game? How was the crowd feeling at home?
Well, of course they felt great. The Packers finally got a win. It felt like, years since they even scored a touchdown. 1 month without a win is bad, especially with a team that many people told me could go 8-0 to start the season. But yeah, it's good. It's definitely good to get a win. And I'm sure we'll talk about it, but Aaron Jones is involved. Crazy what happens when you give your best player the ball. You win games. It took Matt LaFleur 5 years to figure this out, and I'm not solely sure that he's got that figured out yet. The Packers did what they're supposed to do. They beat an inferior opponent. If Stafford is healthy and playing that game, I don't necessarily know if the Packers win that game. But yeah, the Packers did what they needed to do. Brett Rippon is not a very good football player, to say the least. I don't know. What is there to say about this game? This is another game where, much like the Denver game, where it's kind of I guess it's kind of different than the Denver game. It's saying that it's a no-win situation, because this kind of felt like it had to be a win if the Packers have any semblance of wanting to compete in the playoffs for this season, which they did. But is this an impressive win? Not at all. Is it a good win? It is. So I'm with it. I'm with it a lot. Packer fans are certainly happy, but now I've seen the tide swing to Packers are guaranteed to playoffs from many fans on Twitter after a 20-3 victory over Brett Rippon led Rams team.
Yeah, congratulations to the Packers for now, I believe, having the same amount of wins in October as the Brewers, who got swept out of the playoffs. So that's cool. But I mean, this team, these aren't a bunch of rookies anymore. Eventually, the mistakes are just not having good enough players. I get some mistakes, it happens. It's once in a blue moon. I'm not saying Aaron Jones is that guy, but we're in week 8 right now, and a lot of these guys making these mistakes aren't rookies. The offensive line, there's nothing. It still felt like the same game as in weeks past. Sure, the Packers got the win, but this offense doesn't do it. I mean, we're still waiting for them to score 21 or more points for the first time since week 2. The defense did well against Rippon. That's awesome. That means nothing, so what did we learn? Nothing. And this team now has Pittsburgh's defense on deck. They have the Chargers on deck. They have the Lions on deck. Is scoring 20 points going to be good enough against any of those teams? Absolutely not.
I will say that, Zach, before you go on real quick, this Packers win, and I've been to a lot of Packer games, this is the most boring win that I've ever seen the Packers get.
It was just one note the entire... the Packers didn't give fans really any time to feel good about anything, because it's you score, you did something, and then you immediately took a step back. It felt like a 0-0 game, to be honest. You look at the final score and it looks like the Packers did something, which is fine. Whatever. A win's a win. Who cares? But
it was Big Ten football.
Yeah, kind kind of. Big Ten West football, to be
Yeah.
more exact. I mean, okay, so I think my biggest takeaway is yes, we didn't really learn anything, right? Whatever. Like I struggle with who's to blame for all the mistakes, just because truly, and I truly believe that it's just the people you bring in. Like I feel like it's the IQ of the player you bring in. I feel like the Packers haven't drafted very many football players. Packers drafted athletes, try to make them football players. They're not gamers. They don't know the game. They don't play the game. So like I feel like it's a Gutekunst thing. Like I understand LaFleur needs to coach better. I understand the rest of the staff needs to coach better. But I feel like it's just the people that are dominating the locker room, the people brought in, and a lot of it, again, and is the running theme of every show, I suppose. It's like there's no leader, there's no one to hold people really accountable. There's no people to be leaders and coaches on the field. So that's why mistakes happen over and over and over. But it's truly like it's the uncalled mistakes, it's the mistakes in the shadows, the mistakes on the backside of plays that get me, I suppose. But it's like, you know, like a lot of the things, like people I don't think understand what a holding call means. I think part of it, you see it with the Wisconsin Badgers too. We see Wisconsin Badgers linemen, there's false starts too, but they get called for holds all the time. And it's like, oh, how'd the line get called for a hold? They suck. Either they're bad or the coach isn't holding them account. And it's not that at all. It's like if there's an inside zone play and it gets bounced outside, then it's going to be a hold because the lineman's sealing them off here. And then all of a sudden it's over here. Like either the running back gets killed or whatever. Like no matter what, the lineman's holding them. People don't understand that every play, you grab their jerseys, you grab their shoulder pads. It's just when the direction of the play completely goes the opposite direction, then the arms extend and you see it's a hold. So there's so many things with holding specifically that it's like this was called because the running back didn't go to the correct spot. It was called because the running back had to bounce it because there's nothing happening in the middle. There's a million reasons for that. So like holds, I don't really care about, but there's a million mistakes all over, is what it is. To say positives about the game though, like my biggest worry with LaFleur keeps going back of, it's awkward to coach against your friends.
He said it after the win, after they beat him.
Yeah, I know, which kills me. It kills me. But still, this was one of his best called games.
Agreed.
Ever. Like there were still highs and lows. There were still mistakes. It's hard to, call a perfect game. It's almost never happens. But for the most part, like I think LaFleur did what he had to do. He did everything he could do. And then it's left in the players' hands to just run the plays. And, they did it enough correct on the field to score the points.
Yep.
And is what it is. Defensively, though, like people keep saying, oh, Joe Barry only did it because he played against Ripon. What's he have to apologize for? Like, he didn't give up more. He didn't give up a touchdown. He didn't give up anything. He played a near perfect game, 3 points. That's unheard of to give up in the NFL, really. And the defense played lights out. The defense played within assignment, they did their job. No Rasul Douglas, no problem. And, a big reason for it, and not sorry, Quay Walker wasn't in there. So you had linebackers staying in position, staying in gap, and they just made the plays that were there to be made. And so the defense played well. Special teams continues to be a little shaky. Offense, ups and downs, but one of their best games. And LaFleur, I can't really discredit anything other than him wanting to hug and kiss every player on the cheek after any of them do anything right.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever.
Yeah. I agree, Zach. It was a great game all around. And if it wasn't for a 4-game losing streak before, I don't know how great the Packers feel after this game. Like I think any team in the NFL right now that's not named the Green Bay Packers kind of feels a little dirty after this win. But once again, you don't apologize for wins in the NFL. It's not a great win, but for the Packers, it was a great win.
No, I mean what's the opposite? Like if they lost this game, then the fucking sky is falling, you know, and they avoided that. So that's a step in the right direction. You can argue if that helps their team or not. You know, winning games at this point, I don't really think we are playing for anything this year other than draft position. So
I'll say on the flip side of that, if they are playing for something, this win does. I mean, it gives these young guys momentum. It gives them something to ride with, something to run with, and that's what you need if you think you're in a position to make get the 7 seed here. Which once again, are they? That's up in the air. But if they believe so, then they have something to at least build off of now, as opposed to losing to the Denver Broncos.
Regardless, you have to learn how to win.
Correct.
Like, you either learn how to win this year and then you have some momentum hopefully for next year, or you go into next year with a bunch of losers.
Correct.
And I mean, that's what this team is right now, is a bunch of losers. It's a bunch of people who had some success in college, a lot of people who rode coattails in college to success. They come to the NFL, they get smacked in the face with the reality of, oh, I'm not the best. Oh, I'm not a winner. Oh, I can't just go through life, go through the day-to-day half-ass and have my other 5 stars lead me to a win. Like, this group of young players has to learn how to work, has to learn how to prepare, has to learn how to do things the right way to actually get wins. Do I think they're doing it right now? No, but they did get a win. So hopefully something to build upon, and we'll see. I don't know. I mean, if there's any indication, the game was so bad that the Rams went out and needed to sign a new quarterback, regardless if Stafford's back or not. Like, they need, like, Rippon cannot be on the sideline ever again. Is kind of what they're thinking. Yeah. So
I'll say, and whatever. Of course, like I agree. Give credit to Matt LaFleur and everything. That Luke Musgrave touchdown was awesome. That was just totally ripped off from George Kittle, but totally awesome play call in that moment. So I'm with it. It's also awesome to see Luke Musgrave in the end zone.
Right? Great play call. And what no one's giving credit to, I'll do it. Fucking offensive line had to hold up.
Yeah.
Like, if the offensive line struggles there, Jordan Love gets his head taken off. Like, that would have been the stupidest looking play of all time. If Jordan Love is doing a fake, like he had to do it, but if he's looking like a fucking dumbass looking over here, like there's no receiver there, and gets his head taken off, bad luck. So good thing the offensive line did their job there.
The only problem I had with that play was Luke Musgrave didn't do a Lambeau leap.
Fuck it. He doesn't need to. Hell,
I
mean, this is going to be the least popular Packers take of all time, and everyone's going to criticize me for it. Fuck Packer traditions. Who cares? Like, this is a new era, anyways. We don't need a Lambeau leap if you don't want to. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't know.
Make Lambeau leaps fun again.
I get every other team's doing Lambeau leaps. So is it really a Lambeau leap anymore? Who cares? Browner, Aaron Jones moving forward. Aaron Jones played roughly 66% of the snaps, I think, like 2/3 here. He's healthy, and I think that's the biggest thing. Packers kind of need to cover their ass. They kind of need to do something correct. So I think it is Aaron Jones moving forward until he's hurt. It's insane how much better he is than AJ Dillon, and how good he made everything on that offense work. Like, any success that offense had this past week, like, credit Aaron Jones, because he made so many plays out of nothing, and that just extended drives, and it allowed Matt LaFleur to actually get into the game plan, which he never did past weeks. So I like Aaron Jones moving forward. Hopefully he stays healthy. Stoof, Lambeau leap is to the bottom of the division. It is. And I'm secretly hoping, not secretly, I hope the Packers lose out, because I have a bet for the Bears to finish 3rd in the division and the Vikings to finish 2nd. I have the whole order, so I would love to cash that bet. In terms of snap stuff, Rashawn Gary didn't play a very good game after getting a big extension. He kind of did Rashawn Gary things. Played 36 of 58 snaps. Yeah, not much to say about him other than mediocrity showcased in the biggest moments there. Anthony Johnson played safety, Rudy Ford out. I thought Anthony Johnson played pretty well. He's guy I talked up a bunch. I really like him. I would still like to see him play some slot, to be completely honest, but I think he's a really solid player. I really hope he gets snaps moving forward. Rudy Ford probably back this week, but we'll see. And then like one of the only things I truly wrote down for this defense for this game is like I think Isaiah McDuffie is peaking. Like he is maximizing his talent. Like I think there's a lot of things Isaiah McDuffie will never, ever, ever do. I think he's too small. I think he's not strong enough. I think he's not fast enough. But in terms of what he has, I think he's playing as good as he possibly can play, which I think is awesome. And I know this for a fact. And if I want to give Joe Barry some compliments, he's invested a lot in fucking Isaiah McDuffie, like in off season, in working with him and helping him grow. Would you maybe like all of the attention and all of that coaching to go towards Quay Walker? Possibly. But I think he's made Isaiah McDuffie a really fucking good player. Is he worthy to start? For most teams, no. But boy, he is such a good player to have for this defense, I think. I think he's playing really good.
Yep. Agreed.
Anything else to say about this game, I guess?
No, I mean, like, really the only player they had to take out of this game was Aaron Donald. They did a very good job against him, so salutes to that.
Yeah, he had his plays, but he's always going to have his plays. Packers split snaps pretty much evenly at left tackle between Walker and Nyman.
If they want to win games, that's got to be figured out.
Probably. They both played okay. I don't think either player's especially good, but
agreed.
They played fine. Offensive line overall played pretty good. Josh Myers had some plays, but whatever. Christian McCaffrey died again, or not McCaffrey, I wish. Christian Watson died again on the field and then was running on the sidelines, full participant today. The dude is like, if he's 99% healthy, he's hurt.
0% healthy.
Yeah. Like, he has no pain threshold. If he fucking gets a paper cut, he's like, I've been wounded. Like, it's...
At a certain point, like everybody's like, oh, he's unlucky with injuries. No, he's not. No, he is not. This is who he is. Let's understand it. That's a negative. That's not unlucky. That's a negative.
His injuries aren't physical. His injuries are all mental. Like he's getting taken out of the game for everything else that most players play through.
He's like one of those, like when you have a little kid that's like a baby and they like fall and they look to you to see how their reaction should be. That's Christian Watson. Oh, I got hit hard. I should automatically start crying to be taken out of the game.
He had a great one catch though. It was a good play. Just
all fucking time.
He hurt his entire body and hymen in the process.
Yeah, I don't get it, but whatever. Yeah, not much else to say, I suppose. Injury report, obviously, week 10 playing the Rams. On Wednesday, I'm talking for practice here. For the players who did not practice at all, Jair didn't practice with a shoulder injury. Josh Nyman didn't practice with a back injury. John Runyon didn't practice with a neck injury. Quay Walker continues to be out with a groin injury. In terms of limited, Kenny Clark was limited, which is good. Obviously, he left that game. Rudy Ford didn't play last game. He was limited with a calf. Elton Jenkins limited with a knee. Aaron Jones limited with the hamstring, just a maintenance day. And then Christian Watson, like I said, full participant, which is with a back injury, supposedly. It's kind of wild. In terms of the Steelers, Montravis Adams did not practice with an ankle, and this would be huge if it stays like it is. Minkah Fitzpatrick did not practice still with a hamstring injury. If Minkah doesn't play, that would be fantastic because he is incredible. Chat, they just put Watson on IR for chakra balancing. Pretty much, they should at this point. I mean, pretty easy keys for the Steelers, right? Offense needs to, protect the edges, and let's fucking win between the guards, essentially. Like, let's run the ball. Let's stay ahead of schedule, and let's not let TJ Watt put his imprint on this game.
That's the key to the game, right? Is don't let TJ Watt beat you. It's going to be very difficult, but I mean that's how you win a game like this, going to Pittsburgh. I said it on our fantasy football show, but the Packers somehow just went from Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, and Rasul Douglas to Ballantyne and Ballantyne at corners, which is kind of scary going up against Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. But with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, who knows, what that's going to turn out to be. So the key probably, right, is to get pressure on Kenny Pickett and just not let him win the game.
Yes, I mean, but first, like, we can't let the Steelers running game get going.
Right.
Like, if they're able to balance it and lean on their run and take pressure off of their passing offense, then we're fucked. That's kind of what happened last game.
Yeah, let me change that to make Kenny Pickett uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah. If he has to beat us and he's uncomfortable, then should be good.
Alex
Packers
Highsmith is healthy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, he's good. Stu says Watt has a little reminiscent of Clay Matthews. I could see that. Certainly a better player than Clay.
Yeah, I love Clay, but Watt is much better than Clay Matthews.
He's so good. Packers also need to have a lead before Renegade plays. I hate Renegade. I think it's the worst tradition in football.
Mm-hmm.
But this soft ass Packers team is going to get taken out by that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work against any other team seemingly in the past several years, but it will work against the Packers. I can pretty much guarantee it. Like, it's going to be a TJ Watt pick 6 if they're on defense and Renegade plays. So Packers need to start fast. They need to keep a lead. And if I mean, the Steelers are so opportunistic, right? Like, their defense has won them games. If the Packers keep fumbling the ball or keep just handing possessions over, Steelers are going to capitalize. Like, that's their whole thing. Their whole thing is that their defense does that and their offense sucks. So we can't give extra possessions to people. Just
Yep.
Also, if the Packers played in an away stadium with atmosphere anywhere near Pittsburgh, like this team,
not this year.
Like,
no, I mean, it's been Denver, which is a pretty good crowd, Las Vegas, which was a Packer crowd, Falcons and Bears.
Yeah, no, this is the first. Like, it sounds weird. This is the first real test of their mettle on the road. I have seen nothing that tells me that they're going to put up with it. To your point about the Renegade, like, they're going to be shitting bricks before the game.
I mean, I really worry about Zach Tom too. I love Zach Tom. I think, again, he maximizes his potential essentially, but now he plays against a real defensive end, a real edge rusher, someone who's long and fast. It's not someone who's just going to try to bull rush him. It's someone who's going to do absolutely everything, and it's not going to work.
I mean, to add on to that, like, Romeo Doubs was great to kind of close out the game last week. He made nice plays. I don't know that the Packers might be down to, toss up between Luke Musgrave and whoever else for, best offensive player. But Aaron Jones and Luke Musgrave are going to have to stay in and chip. They're going to have to stay in and block in this game.
Yeah. And I mean, again, yeah, they have to. Those are the two positions that really do it. And that takes away possibly the two best weapons. So tough. People need to step up. Facing Joey Porter Jr., who has certainly stepped up on that Steelers defense. He's going to lock down whichever receiver he decides to go against.
He played well against Hopkins last week.
Super well. He's been good. Let's remember the Bears traded him for Chase Claypool. Essentially, it was that pick, which is awesome. And then Pat Pete's the other corner, and he's not playing well, but I am willing to bet Pat Pete can cover Romeo Doubs. Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I got nothing else to say other than I think Steelers win 23-13.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh's a very tough place to play. Packers are going to have to score touchdowns. Everyone knows how hard it is to especially kick in there, especially when it's getting cold now. So yeah, I'm with you, Zach. I'm going Pittsburgh 20, Packers 13. Like, Packers haven't won in Pittsburgh since, Bart Starr was on the team. And I don't think that happens this year either.
Is that true?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's
fact
true.
check me on that, but I believe it's true. So I think that trend continues. So I'm with you. 2013. I guess I'm taking the under in the game.
Same. Trevor?
23-7, Pittsburgh. His offense isn't scoring 20 points, so that's pretty easy to bet the under on it usually.
Yeah, and I feel like the only way this game hits the over is if the Steelers score at least one defensive touchdown, which is very possible, but even one may not be enough. Stoof has a did you know here. I'm sure this is going to be enlightening. Did you know the Aztecs used to float up the Mississippi River all the way to Wisconsin?
That's true. Zach's actually 50% Aztec warrior.
I mean, I did not, but thank you for that. I'm 0.2% Mongolian.
The last time,
or Cantonese or something, according to my 23andMe. So a little spoiler alert for something that may be happening soon. I think I need to have a gong in the background, and we're gonna ring it if we get a donation. And it can't say it's offensive. Check my fucking 23andMe, so we can do it. It really opened up a lot of opportunities for us, I think. Yeah, Luke.
And he's muted.
Yeah.
You silenced him, Zach.
I guess. Grandma Bruner crossed the ice. I guess that, or one of my relatives was brutally raped by Genghis Khan, which is also very possible, I think.
You guys see me?
Luke, you here?
Yeah.
There we go.
The last time Green Bay
How are
won,
you going to follow up with the brutal rape of Zach's ancestors?
Well, how bad Green Bay has been in Pittsburgh. The last time they won was 1970 in Pittsburgh.
That's crazy.
54 years ago.
That's crazy. Do you have like the game by game, like how many losses there's been, or no?
I can get it.
Have we played there?
That's what kicked me out of the streak.
Well, it's been every 4 years, right?
What'd you say? Every 4 years? Is that what you're saying?
Usually it would be, at least.
Packers versus Steelers history. Football database results.
One,
okay. I mean,
2, 3, 4, 5 losses since then in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, that makes it sound less bad, I suppose, but still not good.
I'm
able to.
I know something. The
okay.
Big shout out Matt Schneiderman for this one, but since that 17th game, the Packers have whoever finishes at the same position as them it's the AFC East this year, and right now it's currently the Jets, so we could see Rodgers back in Green Bay next year.
Good. Thank God for that.
50 on our ass.
That feels like a 400-yard, 5-touchdown game.
I don't have the box scores for every Packers game, but I have the earliest one against the Steelers, November 2nd, 1980, if you'd like to hear who played well in Pittsburgh. So it could be reminiscent of that. We had Lynn Dickey at quarterback. Not bad game. 289 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Lynn Dickey. This is a loss, I should say. I mean, yeah, at that time, great. Terry Bradshaw had 135 against us. Wow. But running game didn't get going. We had Eddie Lee Ivory, 32 yards on 12 carries, not great. Franco Harris was pounding the rock against us. We held him to 56.
Pretty good.
Not too.
Why did I expect you to finish Eddie with Lacey?
I know. I almost said it. I had to catch myself. Anything else crazy? Kicking. Lost on a missed field goal. Could it be reminiscent of this week?
Who missed it?
Tom Bernie? Probably Bernie. Oh no, he missed a PAT. He didn't attempt a field goal.
Okay.
So we would have lost by only 1, I guess.
Okay.
This is a weird box score. Interesting. Any other box scores you want me to talk through for Packers Steelers before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
Can we go to the game they played in that's 2008 where I think was it Santonio Holmes with another toe tapping catch? I just want to trip down memory lane of who was on those teams.
Okay, I mean we got the 2009 December 20th game.
Yeah, perfect.
That works.
Okay, Packers lose in Pittsburgh 37-36. Big fourth quarter. 35 fourth quarter points scored.
I remember that.
That was back and forth.
That was Pittsburgh Super Bowl year, wasn't it? Or the year after?
That was the year after, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah. Game-winning touchdown was how is it? Why is this backwards? Never mind. We scored last. It looks no. Why is it?
No, we
doing that?
didn't. I don't think.
No, this is ordered really weird, but it has to be a Mike Wallace touchdown to win the game.
Yeah, I think it was a toe tap.
Weird. Okay, so Rodgers lit him up. 383, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Surprise, surprise. Ben lit us up. 503, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. We sacked him 5 times, though. Really rattled him. Ryan Grant, 37 yards rushing, touchdown. Rodgers had 22 and a touchdown on the ground. Rashard Mendenhall, 38 yards rushing and a touchdown. Willie Parker got 22. Santonio Holmes, -2 rushing yards. Scrub. Receiving for the Packers, 74 and a touchdown for Jermichael. 118 and a touchdown for Greg Jennings. 71 for Jordy, 76 for Driver, 36, and guess what? A touchdown for James Jones. Surprise.
Sounds about right.
Oh fuck. Steelers, 118 for Heath Miller. That had to be the slowest 118 we've ever seen in our lives.
Man.
126 for Hines Ward, 73 for Rashard Mendenhall, 77 for Santonio, 25 for Meweldy Moore, and a touchdown. And then 79, Jesus, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns for Mike Wallace.
Hey, can you do us another favor now? What was the longest catch by Heath Miller in that game?
27 yards.
That's 26 yards too far downfield.
Yeah. I mean, 118 yards and 27 was the longest.
Yeah, it's 27 yards too far downfield.
It feels like those receivers weren't here it feels like they were more recent, that receiving core. That was 14 years ago.
Do you guys remember the Pittsburgh game? I think it was Brett Hundley. We almost won that game.
Yeah. It was at home, I think.
No, it was at Pittsburgh, right? Sunday Night Football?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
2013 it has to be.
Antonio Brown had that catch on the sideline to win them the game or whatever. That was an awesome game.
Okay, this was Matt Flynn that I'm looking at.
Is it Brett Hundley? 2015 maybe? Brett Hundley?
2017? That's the next one between 2013. I didn't feel like Hundley was still on the team. I guess he was. Okay, so this was, 31-28. Steelers win. Hundley, 245, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Roethlisberger, 351, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jamal Williams, 66 yards and a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell, 95 yards on the ground. Devontae, 82. Cobb, 58. Jamal Williams, another 69 yards receiving. He went crazy. And then Le'Veon had another 88 through the air. Antonio Brown, 169, 2 touchdowns. Martavis Bryant, welcome back, 40 yards and touchdown. And
Heath Miller, 220 yards.
Xavier Grimble, 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. Efficiency. And they gave him 1 yard after the catch. I don't think that's possible. I mean, I guess he caught it at the line of scrimmage and ran it in. I don't know. Packers still had Vogel punting the ball. That's fun.
That's a throwback.
What a time. Crosby missed a field goal. We lost by 3. Boswell was kicking. That's surprising to me. I feel like he came in more recent than that. Wow.
That was only
2 years
ago.
He's been there a long ass time.
Is Reimer any relation to Eminem? That's interesting. Are you?
Yeah, we're both white.
Fair enough. All white people are related.
You're both in Detroit in similar time periods.
We both like Eminem's music.
Great point. Brett Hundley was worse than Deshaun Kaiser. Yeah. I mean, they're both bad. But
yeah. I like Deshaun Kaiser. I know I shouldn't, but I liked him.
Brett Hundley hung around the NFL longer.
He did.
Like as recently as last year, I think.
Deshaun Kaiser telling the story about Rodgers saying that 9/11 was an inside job is an all-time story.
Yeah, so good. So good. Okay, well, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.